Sister Sarah, assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikum salam.
Thank you very much for coming to see us and share your story with us today.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for...
Now, I understand that you've been a Muslim for 4 years now.
Yes, I have.
How did this happen? What was your journey like?
Yes, well, it probably started when I was around 6 years old, when I went to church on my own. We were going shopping, and I turned into a church. I just said, I'm just going to go in here. So I was living with my aunt at that time.
Well, your family were Christians?
They were, we come actually from, they were Jews. So, but my grandmother, she was a full-blown atheist. So I don't know what we were. We lived Danish with Christmas, and I didn't know actually anything about the Jewish.
So the roots are
traditions.
Jewish, but actually in actual life, no particular religion.
No, and we didn't talk about it.
So what attracted you to the church?
It was I just felt a peace in there, really, and
At such a young age.
yeah, it was wonderful, and I kept going back. And the weird thing was, I never got baptized, and I never went back to the confirmation. So, because I didn't believe in God, I just liked going to the church. So I was.
So you were going there for the peace of mind.
Yes, well, Denmark is a very godless country, so religion is for the most ridiculed. And where I went to school, they told the story about Jesus. He had the bread and the fish and the wine, and he was sharing it with a lot of people. They said, of course, what you have to learn from this story is compassion and sharing. But they brought food packages. You gotta understand, that's how the food stretched so long. And I was just a little person. So I was like, okay, then it's like that. There's no God, there are no miracles. They brought food themselves. And I can understand that I have to be nice to another person. That makes sense. So I went on with life, and I even met people that did magic. I did yoga to kind of fill that empty void.
You were looking for something.
I was looking for something. I went to church sometimes, and I went to do yoga, and I went to do all kind of rituals to try and find my way, because I knew there wasn't a God, so I just never looked into it.
And this went on for many years?
For many, many years, until I was like 35. So I got a stomach illness, bad digestion, to the extent where I could eat like one piece of bread with a bit of jam on every day for half a year. So I was really...
You couldn't eat anything else?
No, I could really, really small amounts. So at that time, I just felt, okay, I gotta dive into this feeling I get at church, or this spiritual way. So one thing led to another, and I decided that I was going to try out with Buddhism. There are some Buddhists in my family. My little youngest sister, her family. So in that way, it kind of makes sense. So I read about it, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just try it. And I did it for a year, and I ended up in chanting Buddhism.
They have a Buddhist temple here?
Yeah, they have. This is kind of a Buddhism that where you chant with other people at home. And I remember the last time I did it, we asked each other, what are your aims? And she said, I want to improve the government here in Copenhagen. And I was like, but I'm looking for this feeling. And then I started actually going to church. I went there a few times, and at the same time, where my son played football at that time, there was a guy that started telling me about Islam. And
one of the parents?
Yeah, one of the parents. And I gotta be honest, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be really polite. I like this person, and I don't want to be impolite, so I'm listening to him, but I'm.
What did he do? He preached Islam to you?
He was very good. He was just like, oh, okay, so you do Buddhism, that's interesting, and let me tell you a little bit about Islam. I was like, yeah, whatever, of course, you gotta do this.
That's because you already told him about what you were doing, right?
Yeah, I did. Now it all makes sense, but at that time I was like, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. When like, I have seen television. I know what these Muslims do. It's not for me.
You said this to him?
I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. I'm going to be polite and listen to him. So, and after a few months, I was like, okay, there must be some reason why I'm the one he's talking to, because there's a lot of parents here. And
so this happened several times?
Yeah, we were speaking, because football 2 times a week. So.
So every time you go with your kid, he talks to you?
Yeah. So, and then I also spoke to another one, and he sent me some papers, because that's actually what I needed. Because he was the first guy who was very talking about the spiritual and Allah loves you and everything, but I did need the hard facts. I needed to remove Darwin. For me, I was taught that there was a little thingy in the sea, and it crawled onto the land, became a pony, jumped into the sea, became a whale, and that makes sense. And so I had to read that, okay, this completely does not make sense. We might have some evolutionary things going on, but essentially it doesn't get us from nothing to this. Then I had to read about the Quran and the miracle it was. And then slowly, because at that time I was waking up at 3:00 in the morning, so I didn't know what to do. I played the Quran and I was reading these things. And during this time, I fell in love with Allah, and I fell in love with the Prophet, and I understood how, because frankly, I thought, oh, this not drawing this person, isn't it? I mean, is it really that offensive? Because there was I don't know if you know about the Muhammad crisis, where a Danish newspaper drew Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yes, the drawings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, of course, you never want to offend another person, but this seems a little much for a drawing. I was also an artist, so. But during those months, I came to understand it with my heart, why it was like this.
Why it was so offensive.
Yes.
So actually, when this problem happened in Denmark, you were not yet a Muslim.
Not at all.
But you were.
No, I wasn't
learning a bit.
Not even at that.
Not yet.
It's that's further back actually.
That's much earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah, but it has really it's been a big thing in Denmark.
Yeah.
So, and I felt so. I come from hippies and open people, just not towards Islam. They weren't like, my family's not a hateful family, not at all. And they haven't rejected me or anything. So, but they just feel like that Islam is very closed and it's very old and the opposite of modern, which I know now is not the truth.
So it must have shocked them when you embraced Islam.
No, okay, so here, actually my mom, she became a Christian before she died. She died in 2011, and my dad was kind of a Buddhist, and he died in 2014. So my aunt, who's kind of my mom, it was her that was here. She, I didn't tell her. I told her about my studies, and I told her, I tell her a lot. I tell her how my opinion shifted towards Islam, and I told her about all the miracles and well, I said I read a lot about Buddhism. I read a lot about spirituality, and I tried many different things, but I've never read anything that beautiful. So I told her all that. I didn't tell her that.
Until now, she doesn't know?
No, yeah. She, after half a year, she said something about it, and I said, "Oh, but I did that half a year ago." So she was like, "Okay." So, yes, and my son's dad, we're of course not together anymore. He was a little shocked, but actually, our son just converted.
Your son?
Yes.
Converted to Islam?
Yeah, he just turned 15.
Mm.
He was around 11 when I started practicing, and for him it was a little bit weird in the beginning. It was, okay, you're just a Buddhist, and now we're doing Islam. And his dad, he was like, okay, you put on a scarf. It's a little odd, but okay. So, but time has gone by, and my son has, 2 years ago, he said like, okay, I'm kind of interested. I think our lives have become wonderful and interesting, and I like.
He likes the way you are now.
He likes the way I am, and he likes all the things we're doing. He likes praying, and so, and now he said, this Ramadan, he said, I want to do Ramadan. I said, okay, wonderful.
So he observed the fast.
Yeah, and he did some of it, maybe 60%. And then it was just in the end, on the morning after the 27th day, he said, okay, Mom, I want to be a Muslim.
Oh, so he actually experienced fasting before he became Muslim officially.
Yeah,
mashallah.
Yeah. So he converted, and I was a little afraid to tell his dad. But he said, you have completely changed. You have become, well, I always liked you, but you have become, it has improved you.
Subhanallah, he saw that in you.
Yeah, he said you're very helpful, and you're very kind and compassionate, and you're very disciplined. And I want that for our son also. This
is the power of model.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and yeah. So he converted.
MashaAllah.
So that's.
Now it took you really some time. I mean, this was a long process, wasn't it?
It was.
So probably the fact that it has been a long process, maybe the challenges were not that difficult, or were they?
That's true. That's true. That's true, because I had already. I have lived a normal Western life, but at the time of my conversion, I had already stopped drinking. And for many years, I only did it really a little. And in the end, I didn't do it at all. And in the end, I was actually very disgusted being around people that drinks. So that part was easy.
It didn't create disruption in your social life?
No, not at all. I was already there. And that's why also when I read, really studied Islam, it made completely sense. The rules or the guidelines. I mean, I wasn't a person that said, okay, a little bit of alcohol is good. I'm like, don't do it. It's terrible. So yeah, and that At that time, I was not eating pork either. I wasn't eating meat actually, but so that wasn't
Because
a
of
problem.
Buddhism.
Yeah, no, when
No?
that was
No.
that was just because of my stomach.
Your
I'll go
stomach.
back to that.
That's compulsory.
Yeah. So yeah, and the praying was a little difficult. I don't know if I was hit by a little bit of black magic or something, but it was very difficult in the beginning. So
did you convert here in this center or where?
I did. We have a bookstore down there, and I converted there. So
how has been the Muslim community with you?
Yeah, mostly very good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the minute I put on this, it was like putting blue glasses on and everything turned blue. Everybody, was different. They were super nice, and I suddenly knew the whole area because they were like, okay.
Completely new society, new community.
Yeah. So, no, I have a wonderful network. Alhamdulillah. It's I'm very very happy with this. I have many friends, many sisters that are close, and we do work here. Like right now, we're just finishing up a Salah book for converts.
In Danish?
Yeah, it's Ayera material that we have translated. So and.
Sure, you're actually involved in the activities of the center.
Alhamdulillah, and since I can't really work that much, I feel very blessed that I'm able to do this because that is something that would be difficult otherwise. But so it has really, Alhamdulillah, really presented a very blessed life.
Now, if we go back to your family,
yes,
are you still in touch with them? Whoever is still around?
Yes, I am. I haven't been an outcast. No, there is not a problem. Actually, there hasn't been any problems. The only thing there's a little bit difficult is because you just do what works for you, whatever works for you. We're happy that you're doing something that you like.
That's what they say to you.
Yes, and I'm like, yeah, but could you please read this? And they're like, yeah.
You want to take it further.
I want them to at least read what I read in the beginning, at least to understand. I have families that's like, I believe in some sort of God, but it's not a personal God. I can't talk to him. He doesn't really care about me. I believe like more in a magic wishy thing. Like, okay, that's good. I used to be there too, but can I please just tell you the facts? I mean, if you have somebody in your family that invented a machine that works on water and you go around saying that it works on air, the person would be like, it works on water. So, and I wish I had been educated like that. I mean, at least had the choice to understand God instead of him just being ridiculed. And
I think it's a question of hidayah, isn't it?
Well,
I think probably in your case, Allah wanted you to arrive at what you arrived. But yes, it took you a number of years and it was a long process, but you were destined.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
To arrive where you arrived. I think many people are afraid of commitment. Islam, unlike many other religions, probably you know this better than me because you experience Buddhism. Islam means living a certain way. Islam is not just saying a few words or making a few rituals. It's actually a system.
It is. That is true.
And people who know this will either want it or want to know nothing about it.
That makes sense. That explains something. I will think about that.
Yeah, because it's if you know, you have to commit.
Yes, that's true.
Otherwise, what's the point of knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, if you accept the Quran as a miracle, then it's hard to reject.
What I mean, of course, is that some people are afraid of the truth.
Yeah.
Because it is the truth. It is there. If people want to consider it, if they want to look at it.
Yeah. It's true.
Have you been to any Arab or Muslim country?
No.
You haven't?
No, but I don't travel.
Oh, you don't travel?
No.
Is it because of health reasons?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't feel comfortable. That's putting it lightly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I like daily routines. That's probably why Islam applies to me.
Well, if you're preoccupied and if you're content with what you're doing,
maybe by the grace of Allah, I can travel at some point.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad to know that your son has also accepted Islam. He's still a young man, and inshallah, the future is ahead of him. And you'll probably help him acquire knowledge about Islam. Yes,
but as well as I can. 15-year-old boys. No, but he does. He's very appreciative of the help I give him, and I said to him last week, "Mashallah, you're doing very well. I mean, I wasn't as quick as you." And he said, "Well, you didn't have the help I have." So
true, subhanallah.
So he.
But from what I hear from you, he sounds to be a wise young man.
Yes, but he's also very quiet. So after he converted, the same night, no, maybe before actually, we were like, "Why now? Could you? I mean, could you
asked him?"
Yes, and he said, "Well, I could just feel him looking at me all the time." So he does have a very strong connection to Allah.
SubhanAllah al-Azim.
Yeah.
Well, Sister Sarah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And my best wishes to you and to your son.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much.